Hey everyone, Sherwood Small Pets here, and today I'm here doing a preview to a video series that I've been keeping under wraps. I am going to be doing a video series about the rescue that saved Robin Hood's life, and it's also one that I am an active volunteer in, and it's called Piggles, and it is run by a group of superwomen that blow my mind every day with their extraordinary amounts of kindness, their willingness to help, and I really want to help get the word out there. So this preview is going to be about all of my pets, and it's called Don't Write Me Off Just Yet, and it's vouching for small pet adoption, which is something that kind of gets debunked a lot, and I just want to talk about my top 5 reasons why I think adoption should be your first option. And if you want to hit mute and don't want to listen to it, just look at the cute footage of my pets. All right, let's get started. Reason number 1. There has to be something wrong with them if they are up for adoption. That is simply not true. Pets, small pets especially, get put up for adoption for many different reasons, and most of them, well actually I'm going to say all of them, are not the pet's fault. A lot of people, especially this time of year, we're getting into summer. Do you know how many pets are going up on Kijiji and Craigslist just today? It's ridiculous. People are getting into summer vacation, and they don't want to deal with trying to find a sitter for their pet or trying to travel with the pet. Whatever the reason, it's not their fault. We get, there could be a change of life circumstances, financial or spatial, or a new baby or something like that. None of that is the pet's fault. We have to stop, pet shaming and assume that usually it's a change of circumstance for the owner. And again, that is not to say that the owner is necessarily a bad person either. There are responsible owners who know that it would be better off to rehome their pet than put the pet through the stress of living in bad conditions. There are also the types of owners that resell their pets or dump their pets or whatever the situation because it was a bad decision. They weren't cut out for it. They didn't want the responsibility. They got bored. Whatever. I've seen ads on Kijiji for, I got this hamster and he's boring. Okay. But we're going to punish the hamster for it. And that's unfortunate. But again, please don't think of it as the pet being the bad pet. Yeah, it's up for adoption, but it's your opportunity to give it an awesome second chance and to show them that humanity, does provide forever homes. I mean, all of my pets come from different homes, and not all of them are bad homes. And with small pets, that's what we get. It's just a hamster, it's just a mouse, it's just a bunny. It's never just. And we as people need to understand that sometimes another human's failings can be our gain. I don't know the person that dumped Mowgli off at my door, but I am forever grateful for them, because if they hadn't made a horrible decision, I wouldn't have her. And it took me a long time to come to terms with that, because you get so angry. If you're an animal advocate or if you're just an animal lover, you know that gut-wrenching feeling. And we need to stop assuming that it's something that the pet did wrong to end up in the shelter. I know this happens to cats and dogs as well, but I'm just going to keep it with small pets because I'd be here all day. But there's nothing wrong with them. Stuff happens, and we need to step up to the plate without being so afraid of where they're coming from. Number 2, only old pets are up for adoption. Now, I've got 2 issues with this one. 1, does it really matter if your pet's older? 2, it's not true. So, the first issue is I understand that sometimes when you're a parent, you want to get your child a baby to, see it grow with it, experience the whole raising a pet thing. I get it. And I understand, especially with hamsters, older hamsters are very, very difficult to rehome. I'm going to talk, my experiences with hamsters are more vast than any of my other pets just because I've had more of them. But there's nothing wrong with older hamster. A lot of them, they come with a lot of experience, but just because it's older doesn't mean, 1, you can't tame it, and 2, doesn't mean it's not already tamed anyway. Many of these hamsters that are older, or many of these pets, sorry, are when they get, deserted or dropped off or whatever, a lot of them are already tame. We just assume because we see, enough terrifying commercials of animals in horrendous conditions that all pets must hate people if they've got any years on them. And it's simply not the case. And even when they are, Merlin, he was awful. He hated me for so long. He kept me up crying for 2 weeks. But it took me probably a year and a half, and now he's one of the most affectionate creatures I've ever met. So the age doesn't really matter. And he was only a year and a half, and he was considered, old, even though chinchillas live to be, 15, 20 years old. So it's not so much that. And two, rescues. Accidental litters happen. Like, so many guinea pigs that show up at the rescue that I volunteer with are pregnant. Those babies have to go to homes, and if if you're looking for a baby, trust me, there are babies, because accidental babies and accidental pregnancies are a huge reason that people get rid of their pets. And we need, like, if you can, if you're willing to wait, or if, look at Robin Hood and Little John were a baby adult mix. We adopted Robin Hood first, and then we just waited for somebody to have an accidental litter. And that happened, and it worked out really, really well. So we got, I would say, the best of both worlds, because Robin Hood is the most affectionate creature I've ever met, and he was able to help Little John survive, because we got Little John much younger than we should have, because the owner simply didn't want him anymore. So there are babies at rescues and other places and shelters. You just have to look for them. And I would definitely recommend looking at an adult pet, because they bring so much to the table, and so much character, and so much zest and vava, whatever you call it, that it's so awesome, and you end up being the lucky one. My next point gets led into very easily from the second point. And number 3 is all adopted pets have behavior problems. Now, that's a huge generalization that I think people make way too easily, and we kind of just go along with it, and we call it, that, well, they've gone through a lot, and so, they're probably just never going to be tame. And I've had, six hamsters, 1 chinchilla, 2 guinea pigs, and a daegu. And I've experienced so many different personalities from rescues that I couldn't list them all. I have 2 hamsters right now that aren't totally tamed. Both of them are rescues. However, Evie's on her way. We haven't had her very long, but we just kind of quit trying to force it with Mowgli, because she was just happy. And I feel like there's a difference between having a behavior problem and not being tamed, and that's a difference that we don't talk about. And it's not like she's mean. She doesn't come and attack me. I've seen breeder pets with aggression and stuff. So it's not about their background per se. It's it's their personality. And Robin Hood is definitely the more personable out of him and Little John. And I know part of that is because Little John is still very young. However, Robin Hood, the very first night he was with us, all he wanted to do was come out of his cage. That's all he wanted. And that kind of thing, that bond, that kindness that you get from a pet, when you get it out of a pet that's come from somewhere awful, you immediately value it so much. Merlin, he was not by any means a happy camper when he came with us, but the work that we put into it, we got out tenfold. So they're not all going to have sunny personalities necessarily, but we justify human behavior based on experience, right? So and so's had it tough for the last year or so just leave it be. How's about we do that for animals? You know, don't give up on them. Just work with them consistently. And I'm not saying that makes you obligated to grab a hamster, to adopt a hamster that has cage rage, because it's hard. You have to adjust what you're looking for based on your personality, and only you know what you can handle. So if you're a new owner, don't feel obligated to go after, to go adopt the pet that looks to be the most troubled. That's not your obligation. But be open to looking at the one that's timid, because sometimes once you find that personality, it opens right up for you. But it's a generalization that we just can't afford to make. These pets can't afford that. But definitely, it's something that you can work your way up to. Sheldon, we adopted him, and he was so sweet and so kind. He was our first pet. And Boo, again. But our two dwarves that we got in between them, Hiccup and Toothless, they never liked us. Ever. And we just adopted them on the spur of the moment because they were going to be snake food. And we were okay with it. They never really cared for us. Toothless didn't become tame until he was blind and, needed my help. And I was okay with it because that's what I was looking for. So when you go into a shelter or go to a rescue or what have you, just make sure that, you're open to stuff. Don't go in with blinders on. Is all I'm saying. They will surprise you. I can promise you. Every single pet of mine has surprised me in some way, shape, or form. Number 4 is, I have no idea where it came from, so it probably has lots of health problems. Okay, I understand this. I absolutely do. This entire video is based on thoughts that I had at the start. So I am not at all above any of this. This is just stuff that I've learned in the last 4 or 5 years. Now, I understand wanting to know where your pet comes from. And the reality is, a lot of the times with small pets, because we live in places that these little creatures aren't, tracked and regulated, we're never going to know. You go to a pet store, you're not going to know where it comes from. Chances are it's coming from some kind of mill. And that's probably considerably worse than anywhere else. It can come from a backyard breeder who doesn't know what they're doing. You could also find a pet in a shelter that's come from a breeder that you just don't know. I mean, I don't have any pedigreed pets. I mean, my dog is a purebred. He's 11, he's the family dog, and I can tell you he's had more health problems than any of my pets. So it's not always all in the breeding. And it's hard. It is so hard. See, you can hear him in the background. It is so hard. I get it. I totally understand. But the best thing that you can do is find yourself a good exotic vet and talk to the rescue. I mean, places like Piggles have vets that they take their pigs to before they ever let them go out for adoption. So you know that you're getting a healthy pet. So, I mean, trust the rescue, trust the shelter, and find yourself an exotic vet. Ask them where they take them and see if you can go to the same one. That kind of thing, we have the internet where we can research all this stuff. It's great. Use all those resources because it's so valuable. And just, understand that health issues come with the most pedigreed of pets and the least pedigreed of pets. So it's not something that you should leave a pet in bad spot over. And lastly, I don't have a shelter or a rescue near me, so I might as well just go to a pet shop. And I understand that sometimes it's just not doable, and that's entirely personal, but take a look online. If you want to go to a pet shop, fine, that's cool. I will never ever judge you. But if you are looking to rescue, don't let that be your be-all end-all, that you can't find one. Because chances are on your local, your local Kijiji or I don't know which, there's Gumtree, Craigslist, your local classifieds, you know what I'm talking about. There's always something on there. I know in my area there are small pets that pop up every single day. And they all want the same thing from you. They just want a home, they want love, they want acceptance, and we are in a place that we can give it to them. So take a step out and look at places that you haven't looked before. And even there's lots of stores that do rescues, which is great. They'll house, Piggles has pigs in various pet stores around the Greater Toronto area, which I think is super cool because it lets people walk into a pet store, but they see pets, which is traditionally what people like to do, but they're there giving them a second chance. So that's really, really neat when you can do stuff like that. So there are so many different options out there, and if you ever want me to help you find something for you in your area, just send me a comment and I will do everything in my power. Those are my 5 reasons, not to write off these rescue pets, because they add something to your life. I promise. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's cool. That's fine. All the power to you. But if it's something you're looking at, I hope this video is a good introduction to it for you. And this is a longer video than any of the videos are going to be in the series. So I don't know if it's a preview so much as a prelude. And I apologize for that. But it had to be said, stuff had to get out. And I hope that those 5 things cleared it up for you. If you have any questions at all, just leave them in the comments below, because I love hearing from you all the time. Please keep it positive for this, because I know this is going to probably ruffle a couple feathers, but I wanted to toss it out there because these guys deserve a voice, and I see it. I hear their voice from you guys, my other, the people that I'm subbed to, on Facebook. I see it all the time, and you are my heroes. Okay? I want to put that out there. You are my heroes for giving these pets a second chance. Because often it's done quietly, it's done without a big show, and there is a lot of honor in that. So, anyhow, I hope you enjoyed getting to watch all of my ridiculous clan run around doing their thing while I did this, because, if you didn't want to listen to me, you could have just muted it. So anyways, we will see you soon, and we hope you all take care, and bye!